Industry stories. B.Woods, what's going on with you? Hope you're enjoying everything in your life and you're living your best life. God damn it, we are here telling these industry stories, and we're just gonna tackle it like this. And I thought about this topic just because I think everybody has to go through it in some way, shape, or form, whether you're working in the industry or not. And it's the topic of ass kissing. And how much ass kissing do you need to do in order to reach the top in the business, and is it even necessary? And I think for me, when I first started off working in radio, you did have to kiss some ass. You had to really, and when I say ass kissing, I mean you had to act as if the people that you're working for are more capable, and they're smarter than you, and they're more funny, and they're more talented, and they know all, and they can see all. And by actually socializing with your superiors or people that have some type of pull in the industry, you somehow think that it's going to benefit you to come up in your career. And so when I came into the business, there's just you're probably not going to get a lot of people that you get along with, or your personalities are just not going to match, right? Especially somebody that's your superior, because they just really don't um, they don't really feel you, because you're pretty new in the business. And so when I first got started in the business, going back to like, is ass kissing like appropriate? I got started at this station. I'll call it the beat, and there was this community action show, and when I first got to the station, I was just happy to be there, because it was my first opportunity to be in radio. And so you inadvertently did ass kissing just because you didn't want to piss anybody off. It's almost when you see somebody just smiling and giggling for no reason, and you're looking at them like, God, why are you smiling so much? Like, chill out, you good. Like, you damn near making me nervous. And it's just because people are excited, and they just don't know how to act normal, or act like, they cool, they chilling. So, so we had this community action department at the station, the Beat, and it was in urban radio, you have to have a connectiveness to the streets, so the radio, so that there's a level of camaraderie, right? Like in pop radio or in a pop market or whatever, you just got to play the hits, right? But if the music in urban radio, if the music is supposed to be from the streets and supposed to influence the streets, especially at the time, like the late 90s, early 2000s. Like a lot of LA was radioactive, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, the riots were, wasn't too far away. Race relations in the city, gang banging, like LA was crazy, bloods and like it was insane out here. So, and the music was very much reflective of it too. So in order for you to say that, you're true to the streets, or you're a part of the community, you really had to put your foot out there, and really had to just kind of grind out, and have to have somebody that was connected, so that when people listened to you on the radio, they were rocking with you, and they knew that you weren't full of shit. And so that's just it's a very important portion of just urban radio. And so, going back to the ass kissing portion of it, right? So I had like all my favorite DJs, and there was this one lady. She used to do this show called Street Science on at the station, and I was, before I got to the radio station, I loved this show, because it just talked about everything in the community. I thought it was smart, thought it was entertaining, I thought it was street, it was all those things, and low key. I was a fan of the show. So at the time, I was doing an internship at the radio station, and on my way to working, and then I finally got a job in promotions, and so I was beginning to see a lot of the personalities, and lo and behold, I started working in the promotions department, and it was the first time the lady that was running the show, she was I was a fan of hers, and I was just like, yo, I wanted to kiss her ass so that I can hopefully work within that department and hopefully be a part of the show, because I thought the show was dope, um and so I was just like, I'm gonna say her name is so and so. Let's just say her name is gonna be so and so for the sake of this story. So I would see her in the hallway, and she was on the radio, just down to earth and just super nice, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be dope just to meet her. And I'd be like, hey, so and so, it's just great to be, and she would just fly past me. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, well, she's busy. She's working on these streets. She's handling this business. So, day number 2. Hey, so and so, teeth grinning, looking like Magic Johnson Kool-Aid smile, and she just walks past me. Day 3. Hey, I'm damn near singing at this point. Hey, how are you? And she's just walks past me. And I talked to my promotions manager, and at the time, I think I was looking back at it, I think I was interning or just beginning stages, and I say, yo, every time I say hello to so and so, she just looks at me and just walks straight past me. And then he says back to me, yeah, you know what, B, she doesn't really talk to people that are new or interns, because she figures it's pointless to develop a relationship with somebody that's probably going to be gone out of here anyway. And I was like, whoa, that's so it was fucked up to me. And so I'm over here trying to just really get on her good graces, hoping I can get a gig or just within that department, and it's going nowhere. So I just know that she's on some weird shit. That's just not her thing to say hello. And so at that point, I'm just like, all right, I'm not gonna go out my way to say hello to her. So a few months pass, and she's doing a remote, and a remote means like she's broadcasting live from a location. And so I've been there for a few months already. And so she does a talk show, and during the break, she has to, keep the crowd warmed up, and her warm-up guy just wasn't there. And it's usually like some promotions person or somebody to keep the crowd going, and almost like a talk show, like to keep the audience warm, so when they get on the air, the energy is there, and this, that, and the other. And that guy wasn't there, and I was there. And so I was just picked up the microphone and got on it, like, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good time, telling jokes, and the energy was just awesome. It was a good time, and people were gravitating to me during the breaks, almost the same or more energy than the actual show. And and then it was the first time so and so, she said, hey, how are you? How's things going? With a big smile on her face. And in my mind, I want to say, you dirty motherfucker. Like, it took for me to do something for your show, for you to just say hello to me as a human being. And I was just like, and this where the ass kissing come in, because in every fiber of my mind, I was just like, hey, how's it going? And I'm just doing what I do, and it's almost like that's the point where you're like, I'm officially in the business. I'm kissing ass to somebody that was an asshole to me. And you knew that, okay, on some level, my integrity was kind of thrown under the bus a little bit, because I think, in a real reaction, like, people shouldn't treat you like that after, and they just treat you cool based upon you actually doing something for them. But when you're on the come up, you're not thinking like that. You're just thinking about, okay, this relationship will get me to the next relationship that will build my grind. And so you do the ass kissing. So going back to so and so, our relationship just kind of, it never grew, but it was always just steady. It was just like in the middle. Like, she didn't dislike me, and she didn't not like me, but it was just more of just kind of in the middle. And I was just like, all right, cool. Kind of taught me a lesson. Like, kissing ass doesn't really make too much of a difference. It's more about like, yo grind and what your gifts are. Is that's what people are gonna really gravitate to. And then, with her, and certain people, you're not gonna change. I mean, you're just not gonna change. She had a lot of issues with people within her department. It got to the point that she was practicing all kinds of crazy religions. When somebody left, she would put like dust and particles to ward off the bad energies in the office. I came into the office one time, and I developed a lot of friends within that department, and I'd walk in and I saw like it looked like sugar or something on this chair. And I was just like, why is there all this white stuff on this chair? And they said, yeah, this person, they left, and so put that juju there to ward off all the negative energies because she left on bad terms. I said, damn, this is a weirdo right here. So it was just one of those things to where I was just like, I shouldn't have been kissing up, to somebody that didn't really deserve my time. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And so it was just it's just, people are just a little different sometimes. And if the question is, do you have to do it? I think within the business, yeah. If you're working within a corporate setting, then you're going to have to do a little bit of that just so that you can navigate a little bit. That doesn't mean that you have to. The problem is people believe that shit. That's really what it comes down to. They make the ass kissing something to where they tend to really believe that they enjoy this person's company, as opposed and once the ass kissing starts to work and this person starts to kind of rub off, like like you're laughing at his jokes and he's like, so anyway, I crossed the street and I almost dropped the coffee on my shirt, but thankfully I got it like a basketball play. And then you're like, ah! Oh my god, this boy, you need to keep on telling them jokes. And certain people, they'll eat that up and they'll say, you know what, I the fact is we're getting along, let's do lunch, this, then, the other. And they'll give you little treats and trinkets and opportunities, there. But at the end of the day, most people aren't stupid. They know when that you kissing their ass. So you kind of almost have to, you have to not believe it, because the problem is people believe that. It's almost like the more that you do it, the more that you buy into this idea or this persona of an ass kisser. And if you do it enough, then you become an ass kisser, which makes you kind of whack. You know what I mean? And so it's just about, you got to kind of play your position, and you have to do it a little bit just so that people feel like it doesn't seem like you're playing the game, because there's a difference of playing the game and being an ass kisser. Playing the game is just like, all right, you're navigating and you're doing the bullshit so that you can get to the next level. When you become like an ass kisser, that means that you lost. You don't even know. You think that by doing this, you start believing your hype. You believe in the person's hype. That's your ass, the ass that you kissing. You believe in the shit that you tell them. And it's just a realm of kind of just bullshit going back and forth, right? So if you're for example, if you're an ass kisser, right? Because there's probably a lot of ass kissers listening right now. You believe, like when he says, "Hey man, you're doing a great job, man. We're gonna have to hang out sometime." If you're an ass kisser, your mentality is gonna be like, "Holy shit. I'm doing a great ass job, and we are gonna kick it sometime, right? This is dope. I'm on my way," right? If you playing the game, you like, "Thanks, man. That's cool. We got to get up and we got to do that." But in your mind, you like, "Motherfucker, you full of shit, bruh. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all good. I know you're not really rocking with me right now, but I will hang out with you so I can navigate and find out these little secrets." That's the difference. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of like you're a fox, and if you an ass kisser, you kind of being played. You delusional a little bit, right? And so that's just kind of the mentality. So the moral of the story is just like, play the game, but don't kiss ass, because it sounds the same on like when you verbally doing stuff, it's going to sound the same on the surface. The difference is your mentality to the hustle. And so that's really what it is. And that's what you got to do in order to maintain in this thing we call industry stories with your boy B.Woods. So make sure you keep it locked right here. Holla back.